Well, welcome to Galaxycon. My banner is sagging today. I need 2 more clips. I don't know where they are, but they'll come around eventually. I got my table all set up. They're announcing stuff in the background. Look at this. You would chop down like 10 cherry trees for that book, and you only need to pay money for it if you want. I'm all set up here, having a great weekend. I'm going to be doing a panel in a little bit talking about forgotten theme parks, so I'll be telling different theme park stories. Then I got another one about cocktails tonight, and we're doing Drunk on Disney. So if you are here for a good episode, I'm glad you're here. Stick around. I love old theme parks. I love theme parks that are gone or like that, where they exist but in a smaller capacity than they did at one point in time, because some of my fondest memories are of going to theme parks as a kid, and I feel like that's the case with most people. It's like that's a vacation, you know, even if it's local. Like going to a theme park is such a special thing. Now, there was a time where every town had an amusement park. Like every place, they were everywhere, and amusement parks didn't exactly fit the bill of what we think of. So amusement parks might have a couple rides, they might have a playground, they might have a swimming pool or an area where bands would play music, or a restaurant or a picnic area. There were lots of different types of amusement park areas, and slowly rides started getting more mechanical and more professional. The early log flume rides, they would actually have a guy standing on the back with a net, and he would stand on the back of your log flume as you went down. He'd hold on to the thing, and then if you fell out, he'd scoop you back up with this net and put you back up on the boat, because people would fall out. I mean, all of this stuff was developed over time. The first park I want to talk about is Sesame Place. So there are 2 Sesame Place parks in the United States currently. There is one in San Diego, California, and there is one in Langhorne, Pennsylvania. They now say Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but it's not true. They're in a beautiful little town. They're actually weirdly in a town called Middletown, which is next to Langhorne, but that's besides the point. So here's the computer games, and I'm gonna tell you real quick about the computer games. This is another thing, like when I show people that they had computer games, they're like, so what? You know, what's the big deal? It's computer games. In 1979, when they were building this park, more people had outhouses than had computers in their house. It was like 0.5% of all the people in the country had a computer in their house. And then that doubled every year, and then, you know, within a couple of years, it was everybody had a computer. So it went from this was the most amazing thing that you could go to this place and play on a computer, to being like, oh my God, we have one of those at home. When they designed these computers, and you can see this image here of Cookie Monster, they had a woman named Joyce Hackison, and I interviewed Joyce about the computer program at Sesame Place, and she told me a couple great stories. So first thing she said was she wanted to have music, she wanted to have sound, she wanted to have animation, and she wanted it in full color. And everybody was like, well, none of those things are possible. This is an insane order for 1979. And she said, well, this is for Sesame Street, and we need all these things. And so they had a deal at the time between Sesame Street, which was owned by Children's Television Workshop, had a deal with Time Warner, who owned Atari. And so Atari at the time was making a few computers. And so they were offering their Atari computers. They were going to give them 52 Atari computers for this, to make it the largest collection of computer games anywhere in the world. And so Joyce found pretty quickly that these Atari computers were not powerful enough to do what she wanted. So she heard about a computer called the Apple computer. And they said, this Apple computer can do all the things you want to do. It's the only one that could do it. So she went to go meet with the head of Apple, Steve Jobs. You know, she had no idea who he was. And she said he arrived late to their meeting. He walked in, he was barefoot. She said he had long hair. Everything about him, she said, was so off-putting. She said he didn't wear deodorant, apparently, at the time. This was a thing he did. And she said he went in and he said, all right, I'm ready to hear your ideas. and he closed his eyes and put his feet up on the desk. And she said, I was so taken aback by this man. And there's a happy ending to this. She did learn to really like him over time. But she said he listened to her tell about how, she said, I gave the best speech I could. And I told him how you're going to have these computers are going to be in this park. And it's not just one. We're building another one in Texas. We're going to build another one after that. And she said, so people will be coming from all around the country and their children are going to be using your computer. And the mom and dad will watch their kid use their computer and they'll say, hey, my kid can use this computer and look what it can do. I need this in my house. And so she said, so all we need is a donation of 52 computers, which would be the largest collection of computer games anywhere in the world. And she said he finished and he sat up and he said, well, this is wonderful. He said, well, I'll tell you the price on the computers. Obviously, you're going to pay full price for them, but I think this is going to be great. I think it's going to be so great when I go there and see these 52 computers. And she said, no, I'm telling you, we have a deal from Atari. We could have their computers for free. You should donate them for free. And he said, well, why would I do that? You've already told me these Atari computers won't work for what you need them to do, and that you absolutely have to have my computers. He said, I'd be a fool to give them to you for free. And so she said, she walked out in the hallway and she said to all her coworkers, she said, I called him every bad word I could think of. She said, and then I said, well, he's right, of course. She said, but when they put those computers in, we're going to have a frame built around them so no one knows that they're Apple computers unless I tell them they're Apple computers. I have never been inside here to the actual club, but I did get to go in the lobby once. They have a tour where part of the tour is you can go in the lobby, and in the lobby at Club 33 in Disneyland, they have an elevator that Walt brought back from his travels. It was somewhere in Europe. He saw this elevator and was like, oh, I'd like that elevator, and he bought it. They brought it back to Disneyland, and they installed it like this much off the ground. So you have to step up into the elevator, which means it's not handicapped accessible. So they now have to have a ramp that they move over to it.
Women power. Let's go. Let's shake on it. Go get a beer. Shake on it.
Mrs. Crunch looking to shake hands with Rogue and Don. I don't know. Come on, people of Columbus, let them know what you think. Underway, but I've got to get over and do some Drunk on Disney. Those guys got it under control.
Here's the thing. We don't want... Comedy's never meant to hurt people.
Yes, it is.
Oh, no.
No, you're out of your mind.
That's the goal.
It's only meant to hurt people.
Okay, I don't want to hurt anybody, so if you feel like offended, it's okay to walk out, and it's like, we'll just say goodnight, and like, we love you, bye, and that's
and
it.
Throw rocks at you.
Or if... Just don't complain later, because you have the freedom to leave.
Right. You are not under any obligation to stay.
It's an unfiltered show, and we're just saying everything. Okay.
I disagree. I if you leave, I'm going to tell you.
She let you?
What, me?
Oh, she wanted me, right? Hang on, wait.
Yeah, I wanted him here this whole time.
Let him go home.
Oh,
Let the man get some sleep. Or at least to the hotel.
This statue of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, Drunk on Disney, a little weird tonight. Not the way it was supposed to go. Dana wasn't feeling well, so he couldn't make the panel. He'll be feeling better tomorrow. He'll be back. Arnold's here. This is where they do the Arnold Classic. Arnold in his classic pose. Hope you enjoyed this. Come back tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Brand new video. Right now there's going to be a box here. one over here. You can choose either one. I'm in both. Arnold's not. I'll see you tomorrow. Come back at 2 o'clock.